All right. We're back and welcome back to Yokai Hime's voiceovers. Um, Now we are going to do episode 8, part 2, Through His Eyes. And last time we went over, or sorry, last time Yona had found the diving suit when she snuck onto the boat. So, without further ado, I stare out at the sea in contemplation. My original diving partner is out of commission, and now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I look out towards the equipment and see the desolate look on my crew's face. I'll go alone. Several of my crew members turn to look at me in shock as they speak up in protest. No, Atlas, it's a death wish going down there alone. You have no clue what could happen. Please reconsider, Professor. We can't even make out a foot down in the water, and... Wait! Look over there! Unbelievable! Everyone directs their attention towards the edge of the boat as an incredible phenomenon takes place before our eyes. The water, it's clearing up. Water that murky, beyond compare, mere seconds ago, is now miraculously clearing up and allowing us to peer deeply below. Dr. Lankdar lets out a bellowed laugh as he ushers the crewmen. See? Nothing to fear, old chaps. The heavens are on our side. Let's get this show on the road. No, it's still too dangerous for someone to go down there alone. Someone else has to go with him. But the rest of us have to stay up here and man the equipment and the ship. We don't have anyone else. I'll do it. I'll go down with him. The blood drains from my face as I hear her sweet, familiar voice. The whole dock seems to come to a hush as I slowly turn around and see Yona standing there with a defiant look on her face. She's dressed in a diving suit, and her hands are balled up into fists, staring me dead in the eyes. Yona, what the hell are you doing here? I do my best to hide it, but my emotions seep through my voice. She shouldn't be here. She should be the farthest thing from this perilous place right now. I watch her as she marches up to me, refusing to back down. I came to help. That's what I intend to do. I can feel my heart speed up at the sight of her beautiful face, but even more the glint of confidence in her eyes. Even so, logic snaps me back into reality when thunder rumbles in the distance. I open my mouth to shut her down when... Perfect! Absolutely marvelous. She can join Professor Atlas, and we can proceed as planned. Men, ready the oxygen tanks. Absolutely not. I will not allow it. My yell stops the entire dock dead in their tracks. Even Dr. Lankdar looks up in surprise at my unusual display of emotion. I turn over to look at Yona in the eyes, but grit my teeth. She wears a heartbroken expression The same one she wore yesterday during our argument in the meeting room. It's the same expression that haunted me the entire night, as I wanted nothing more than to hold her in my arms and apologize for spewing words I didn't mean. I tear my hand through my hair as I approach her and cup her cheek, not caring who's watching anymore. Yona, please listen to me. I can't risk putting you in danger like this. I just can't. I won't be in danger. I'll be right next to you, won't I? She looks up at me with eyes that almost crack my armor right then and there, but I manage to obstinately shake my head. I can't risk it. I can't risk her. I just can't. Professor Atlas, forgive the interruption, but I'm afraid we don't have a lot of options at the current moment. I turn around to stare into the eyes of Dr. Lakedar. His expression is uncharacteristically dark, and his eyes are glaring daggers into me. Dr. Lakedar, she doesn't have any experience. How can I possibly? But she has guts, doesn't she? The guts to come aboard this boat, knowing the perils full and well? She's much more of a professional in my eyes than any of the other cowards who stay behind in the lab. She has made her decision, and it's quite clear, Professor, as have the rest of us. So now, what will be yours? The rest of the crew all turn to look at me expectantly. Yona squeezes my hand and gives me an encouraging smile. Trust me, I'm your assistant, and your student after all. I swallow hard as I let out a deep sigh. Fine, she can accompany me, but the second I give the order, I want you to pull her back up. No questions asked. Without a moment's notice, Dr. Lakedar begins barking orders again, and the crew starts moving fast. I watch as they load an oxygen tank on Yona's back, and regret quickly sinks into me. She wraps her arms around me and plants a small kiss on my lips as I stare at her. I can't help but crack a small smile as her excited expression washes away my doubts. You're in for some serious punishment when we get back. You know that? I hear her laugh, and it's like music to my ears. She holds my hand and smiles. I look forward to it, Professor. But let's find that relic first. We enter the diving cage, and I give the signal to begin lowering us down. I watch Yona next to me peer excitedly into the clear water. I talk into a small microphone attached to my oxygen mask. I wonder how they do that, because aren't the oxygen masks supposed to go, like, inside the mouth? So how do they even talk like that? That's always been a wonder of mine. Oh well. 1, 2, can you hear me? Loud and clear, Professor. Me too. I look over at Yona and can't help but chuckle as she shoots me 2 thumbs up. We breathe in, and we slowly descend into the depths of the abyss. That must be really cold. After several minutes of sinking under and under, I glance below us. Oh my God! There it is! My eyes keep wanting to go back to Yona's voice. My eyes widen, and I can feel the adrenaline pumping through my body as I take in the sight below me. It's the Flor de la Mar. Plunged into the sand is an old ship that looks like it came out of the pages of a fairy tale book. The bow is severely damaged, but the ship itself is in astronomically pristine condition for its age, and for being sunken under the sea or under the ocean's waves for half a millennia. Why can't they just say 500,000 years? 500,000 years. No, wait. Decade, century, 500 years. Okay. I had to think about that. I eye the markings on the ship, and I can feel unbridled excitement coursing through my veins. We found her, the flower of the sea. I can hear cheers from the crew through my earpiece as Yona laughs. My heart fills with delight as I squeeze her hand. Remarkable. Simply remarkable. How's she looking, Professor? We can't see you anymore from up here. Like I could waltz right into her captain's quarters. Keep lowering us down. I look over at Yona, and even through her mask and gear, I can tell she's beyond ecstatic. She's so beautiful. Wow. As the cage finally reaches the floor, I inspect our surroundings. Slowly, I open the diving cage and emerge out with Yona. As we swim closer, the sight of the ship becomes more and more surreal. Suddenly, we hear a loud rumble on the other end of the communication. Professor, I'm afraid we're on a time limit. The weather is getting worse up here. Let's try to pick up the pace. Oh, rush them, Dr. Lekdar. At his orders, Yona and I nod and swim further out towards the ship. About an hour later. I found it! Yona's voice screeches into the microphone, and I immediately turn around. I see her excitedly pointing at a glinting figure in the sand near the bottom of the bow. I swim closer, and my heart thumps out of my chest as I stare at the sunken corner of a glimmering cross. By God's name, there it is, O Coracal do Anjo. Upon my words, I can hear as the crew begins to scream and cheer. Suddenly, the communication begins to grow fuzzy. Great, out of there. It's pouring here. Typhoon. We got it back. That's horrible. I look towards Yona and I point at my ear mic. She seems to pick up what I'm trying to say and nods. Communication seems to have cut off. Slowly, I wade down and carefully salvage the relic into a prepared bag. As we swim back silently towards the outside of the ship, I attempt to speak into the microphone again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Can anyone hear me? White noise is my answer. No response. I watch as Yona swims in front of me, and I fall slightly back behind. I can't help but look back and marvel at the ship for a few minutes. I stare and try to engrave the amazing sight in my mind. It's a shame we won't ever meet again, Flor de Lamar. As I face forward once again, I can see our diving cage where we left it coming into view in the distance. As I swim forward, I realized Yona has stopped swimming. I quickly swim to her and notice she's still breathing and uninjured, but she's yelling something into her microphone. Her eyes are stricken in fear as I try to decipher what she's saying. AK. What? She points ahead and the communication suddenly comes back on. Shark! I turn my head to see a giant, great white shark circling in on us. My body reacts on its own as I grab Yona, hand her the bag with the artifact, and push her towards the direction of the cage. Yona, listen to me. Stay calm and keep swimming towards the cage. Do not make any sudden movements. I'm right behind you. Now go. I can see the terror in her eyes as she nods quickly. Can you hear us? What's going on down there? It seems the Flor de Lamar had an unexpected guest on board. It's a shark, and it's freaking huge! Suddenly, I hear Dr. Lankdar take over the microphone. Do you have the cross? Really? That's what you ask? Not, are any of you injured? Or anything like that? No, he asked, do you have the cross? Like, that's... And how have you guys not noticed that he's evil yet? Like, seriously. Yes, I have it. We're nearing the cage, but... Remain calm and keep swimming, both of you. Atlas, don't take your eyes off of that shark. Which type is it? Great white. Seems to be male. He is indeed quite large and looks very, very hungry. Just as I say this, the shark changes course towards Yona and viciously lunges at her. Yona, look out! I hear her scream through my earpiece as she reaches the cage and closes it just in time. The shark hits the metal bars over and over in an attempt to get to her inside. Without thinking, I pull out a knife in my suit and cut my arm. Really, Professor? Really? I watch as the blood seeps into the water and desperate hope it will grab the predator's attention. Professor! No! What the hell is happening down there? My trick works as the shark sniffs out the blood and immediately changes course towards me. I hold the knife out defensively, yet continue briskly swimming towards the cage. As Yona opens the cage, the shark lunges in, but I make it just in time and its face meets the metal bars of the enclosure. Pull us up now! Seconds after my orders, the cage lifts and fast. The shark lunges at us again and again as I hold Yona in my arms. Right as we begin to approach the surface, the water grows murky again, and we can't see a thing. Everything seems to grow eerily quiet as the cage continues to make its ascent. For a few moments, I can only feel my heart pounding in my chest as I look around warily. I feel Yona tense in my arms as we finally near the surface. Suddenly, through the murk, the shark hits the cage again, and Yona screams. I watch as the bag with the relic inside slips through the bottom of the cage and begins to sink downwards. Just as I'm about to dive down to snatch it, Yona reaches through the bars of the cage and grabs it. The shark sees this as an opportunity and lunges at her arm. She retracts her arm back just in time, and the shark bites at the murk. I can hear cheering as we are finally lifted out of the water and into the air. Below us, we can see the fin of the shark for a few moments before it dives down below and doesn't resurface. You did it! Yona and I can't help but smile as we hold up the bag with the relic up and remove our masks. That's a typo, I'm sure of it. That's why I was like, wait, what? I can see the tears coming out of her eyes as we are carefully lowered onto the platform. Without even giving it a second thought, I pull her into my arms, giving her a bruising kiss. Bruising? I don't want to be bruised when I'm being kissed, unless it's, Anyways, I feel her kiss back with the same fervor, and she runs her hands through my hair. As we part, we are greeted by the crew members, already busy at unloading and helping us out of the cage. Dr. Lekdar and the others clap as we step out of the cage and take our first wobbly steps back onto the solid deck of the ship. Yeah, I would be sore out of my mind. History in the making. I look back at Yona and my heart stops as I watch her eyes flutter closed and she falls lifelessly onto the floor. And that's it for episode 8, which I will be uploading both on the same day, so y'all will have that. So, next up will be episode 9, Strangers at Night. Until then, see you next time.